Welcome to Artless Nap.
Welcome again to Artless Nap. My name is Anthony Pego. Today I have Heidi Bell.
My name.
So are you from Oklahoma City?
Technically, I'm from Oklahoma City. Grew up in a little shitty town called... Can I say shitty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Grew up in a shitty town called Moore.
Moore.
In Oklahoma.
Yeah, I grew up in Moore too, yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, which side were you on?
Started out on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the west side.
Yeah.
Then back to the east side.
Which part of the west side? That's where I was.
Across the street from Briarwood Elementary. So I don't think that my old house is there anymore.
From the tornado?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the school was gone, so I just assumed that my house was also gone.
Probably. Yeah.
The
very first apartments I moved to, I went back. When I came back to Oklahoma after the first May one, it was completely gone. And yeah, there's new stuff built up there. It's really weird to go back to your kind of hometown and see.
Everything's weird. Mm-hmm. I still hate that town, though.
Yeah.
Sorry. Everybody who lives there still.
Sorry, Moore.
Sorry, Moore. We don't love you.
I'll go back to clean up anytime that stuff happens. But,
yeah.
Gosh.
There's only so much crying wolf you can do.
Yeah, is like an F5 crying wolf. I don't know if that's...
Sorry, that was kind of shitty. I only mean that because there's so many tornadoes that come through there. Every 5 years or so it gets leveled. So if you don't like more in 5 years, just wait.
Right, exactly. Well, I have heard people say, gosh, it's hot in here. We're going to be sweating on the video. I apologize.
Yeah,
it's
I already feel it.
Middle of summer and I'm pouring down my shirt. So once again, all of these podcasts lately have been outside and you hear the cicadas and everything. So yeah, it's lovely. Oklahoma, summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about, maybe you should never move back to Moore, but that doesn't really resolve things because the people who can afford to move, will. And then you have, sometimes they build nicer homes, but they're just going to build homes for people who can only afford to move there. So then you just got
That's true.
Poor people getting hurt by tornadoes. You know?
Every 5 years.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shitty situation.
It is shitty. Yeah.
To build a whole, township with a movie theater. And,
super nice.
Yeah.
You can have nice lazy boys and food delivered to you.
And a beer.
You can
Just
only...
one,
Really?
I'm sure. No, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I actually... The only time I ever went to see a movie in the Warren Theater balcony was Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's actually a decent movie.
And no, it's great, but that's how long ago it was. And they had I ordered a drink that they had a 2-drink limit on. So
yeah. And you're a movie gal.
I am. I like movies.
You have this thing. Can you explain what you do?
My roommate and I have a podcast.
That breeze feels good, but we're knocking over stuff.
Yeah. Well, Oklahoma. It's fighting back now. We have a podcast called 10 Things We Hate About Rom-Coms. Yeah. And it's basically us. We watch the same movie separately. We live together, but we have to watch it separately.
Yeah.
She watches it one day, I watch it the other day, we take notes, and then we get together, and we talk shit about it, basically. And, what could have made it better, what was wrong with it, as far as, socially, the message to young women that it's supposed to,
Oh, it's not progressive, then you're gonna shit on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a progressive warrior or anything, but there's a lot of problematic romantic comedies that came out in the late 90s, early aughts, and that's basically where we're focusing on. It's movies that we grew up with that we got weird messages from watching while we were growing up, and now it's us reacting to them as adults, knowing oh, it's not okay for dudes to act like that. It's not okay for women to act like that. What could have been better about this?
What were some of the worst? Well, what was the worst, and what was one of your favorites?
Okay. So the first episode that we did was of a movie that I'd never seen before. But every single girl in my high school at the time had seen this movie and loved it so much and talked about it all the time to where I already knew the plot. I knew everything about it. The Notebook.
The Notebook. No, wait, this is where...
Which is not
you have the
technically a
Alzheimer's.
rom-com.
Is that right? The Alzheimer's one? Or she has like some sort of dementia?
Yes. Yeah.
And he's reading her the book that she gave to him?
Yeah, it was like her memoir, and he's like, remember this guy? And I'm not that guy, but I am that guy. We did our first episode on that. We knew that it was going to be controversial because it's such a beloved movie by so many people, but we kind of tore it to shreds. And it's a kind of funny episode.
It was sweet as pie, and it made me sentimental, but I do remember being...
I'm not gonna lie, I did cry.
You did?
I cried at the part where she didn't remember him. Like, that was upsetting. Or he didn't remember her? No, she didn't remember him.
Yeah, my grandmother took a long while to pass away from Parkinson's, and so, as you can imagine... Yeah, she's the reason that I get up in the morning and do research and stuff. Yeah. She sat me down. We'd go to their house, and they were always, poor, and like she was a teacher, Native American, and so Native Americans didn't have money and generally do not have money.
Welcome to Oklahoma.
Yeah, she like had silverfish running around and stuff, and that was the way things were. But she would sit me down at a school desk. She had one there, and it was in the kitchen, I think, and she'd give me Pac-Man cereal, which doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, I never had Pac-Man cereal.
You didn't have it?
No.
Yeah, we were living the high life. We couldn't have that stuff at home, like at my house, my parents' house. We couldn't have like the sweet stuff for most of the time. Yeah. My stepdad would, of course, get some for himself, and we'd find it and steal it and stuff. Yeah. But she gave me Pac-Man cereal.
It's like finding drugs.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, well, it is drug sugar, right? She'd sit me down and make me study. And I hated it as a kid. Yeah. Why am I sitting, here having to, like, do handwriting and reading and lessons? And she was a teacher, but that impressed on me. And now, just like every day, I sit up and research, and I owe everything that I am to her.
Absolutely. So. I mean, of course, in our episode, we don't, like, talk shit about people who have... like, memory disorders or anything like that. Like,
fuck your damaged brain.
I know. Fuck you. No, that's not the problem with it. The problem was, if you've seen the movie, then you know what the problem is. Mm-hmm. Ryan Gosling's a little bit too forward. He threatens to kill himself, so she'll go on a date with him. Ooh. Like, that is in the beginning of the movie, and that kind of sets the tone for the rest of it.
So he's an abuser.
It's very manipulative. Yeah. It's a weird, manipulative movie. But that's not the one... Okay, we have an episode that we have not uploaded on purpose.
And what's the name of the podcast?
10 Things We Hate About Rom-Coms.
Okay.
So basically, like, the formula of it is we talk about the movie, the plot of the movie, the whole movie, point out jokes, we point out instances of weird things, whatever, throughout the whole movie over the plot of the movie, and then at the end... we each have 5 different, big problems with the movie. Like, this is why we hated it. Yeah. What could have been better? Right. The one episode that I'm very hesitant to upload... Uh-oh. Because I'm afraid...
Schindler's List.
Yes. How did you know?
It's a rom-com.
It is. It's so romantic. I'm afraid of the backlash of the... because this guy has such a big following, and we did an episode on Chasing Amy.
Okay. And are you talking about Kevin Smith?
I'm talking about Kevin Smith. I share a birthday with him, actually.
Do you really?
Yes.
And he has lost so much weight because he had how dare you pick on somebody who just had a heart attack and survived it? Okay.
Well, he made a really problematic movie about how women just can't be trusted with their own sexuality. Ah. So that's basically our interpretation of it. It's not neither one of us are lesbians, so we can't speak on that platform, at all. But we are women, and this movie completely negates how women choose to feel about sexual partners.
Remind me how that happens. I mean, you're going to have to forgive me. I remember watching that movie and just being in love with her. I mean, she was cute.
Joey Lauren Adams. I also have a Joey Lauren Adams impression.
Oh, do you really? We got to see it. Do this.
I don't know. Hold on. I'll have to drink a little bit more
Okay,
first.
all right. Well, I'm going to bring it back around.
Okay. I do have one that I developed. Sure.
Cool.
But, okay, so, well, so the plot is, Ben Affleck is our protagonist of the movie. His name's Holden, which we all know what he's named after, Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye, of course.
Yep.
The brattiest person in literature is now the brattiest person on screen, so he's brat.
Oh, so clever.
Yeah, so clever. But there's a lot of weird things that happen in between then, but the biggest thing was that they doubted her sexuality the whole time. Like, you could I know that you're in love with this woman who identifies as a lesbian, but if you try hard enough, you'll change her mind to fall in love with you because you're Ben Affleck. You're so romantic and amazing.
Okay, so I can't also speak for lesbians.
Yes.
But I do have a couple. Nothing that comes after the word "but" is good.
Yeah.
No, this is kind of just dogging.
Same.
This is dogging just guys that I've run into, and these are people that I enjoy. They're my friends. They're people that I respect, wholeheartedly during the very vast majority of our conversations.
Yeah.
I've had these guys surprise me like a good handful. It's not just like one. It's not one anecdotal thing. It's like way too many saying, well, she just needs dick. And I'm like,
That is exactly, like, I think that's a quote from the movie.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And it's that. It's like, well, she hasn't met the right dick yet. And it's like, well, you know what? She likes chicks, so why don't you leave her the fuck alone? But he doesn't. And then, like, the movie makes her fall in love with him. And, whatever.
Yeah, I think that this, I don't know, generation, I don't want to talk about generational things like kids. I just mean, like, this decade seems to be, like, the decade of dick pics, where dick pics change something in kind of a minor way, like the Me Too movement did. But, like, everybody just realized, like, well, the women are starting to be vocal about, like, what's the fucking point, dude? Like, you're sending, I get, like, 20 dick pics a day, not literally, but,
No.
Like, that's how you introduce yourself.
I wouldn't be surprised if a woman did, honestly. Like, if I met a woman that was like, I get 20 dick pics a day, I would be like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm in a relationship, and, he doesn't send me dick pics, but whatever.
That's good. I did send some dick pics to previous people, but every time I did it, it was known it was going to happen.
You're like, I'm going to send you a dick pic, just letting you know.
But I would do things like put like little fake mustaches on it and put it in front of a microphone and stuff. So I would.
Well, then that's enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, it's art, right?
You put like a little thought bubble, like thinking
I
of you.
Done that. Oh, comics with my dick? A little comic with my dick?
Why wouldn't you?
Come on, this is great.
A
little 4-panel thing.
Write that down.
Yeah, this is trademark, copyright, like all that good stuff. We'll have to share the residuals or whatever you get from comics,
Dickpiccomics.com.
And then you mentioned you have like an art collective or something.
I do. We're called Wendy Darling. That has nothing to do with the fact that my sister's name is Wendy, which is kind of weird. But with my partner, Jade, she and I love horror movies. We love true crime. We have that in common. And we wanted to, we were approached by a coworker of ours who worked for Carpenter Square Theater, and they were doing a play about Lizzie Borden.
Oh, wow.
And so they needed, like, artwork for, like, the, I'm sorry, please edit this out, but I can't remember the word.
Like the background, the scenery, the set? Like...
No, it was for, like, the, like, entrance way, like, they wanted, like, artwork that was inspired by Lizzie Borden or the time, like, Victorian-ish.
Yeah.
America, I guess.
Not for, like, the posters and stuff.
Right. No. Okay. But just stuff that was, like, inspired by Lizzie Borden. So we made a couple of pieces that were inspired by, like, the story of Lizzie Borden that we knew, not the story that they told in the play, because we hadn't seen it yet. But so that's, like, when we started it. And so when we were doing it, we were going back and forth about names, and we were both inspired by true crime, but we didn't want to, like, romanticize anything about, like, an actual crime or anybody that was actually, like, a murderer or somebody who's actually murdered or hurt in any way.
Well, you'd be a little bit of a hypocrite if you were talking about men can't impose their ideas of sexuality, but it's okay for women. You're going to advocate women murdering people.
Right.
With, you know.
But, so our idea was we were like, well, what about if we talk about a movie that we both love, like a horror movie that we both love, and a horror movie that we both love is The Shining. Mm-hmm. And our favorite line from that movie is Wendy Darling, light of my life. Mm. Like, you know, when he's like threatening her and she has like the baseball bat and they're walking up the stairs and it's a really tense, beautiful scene.
Right.
And I love Shelley Duvall so much. And so we just decided that was going to be the name of our collective, was Wendy
nice.
Darling.
Oh,
so
that's adorable.
Yeah. So like so we've made we like to work in Mod Podge and like collages and
very
things
crafty.
like that. Yeah, very crafty. We like to do a lot of like glittery blood and like caution tape and I think
crime scene stuff because you adore the ID channel. Is that where you get your fix?
Well, I get my fix through podcasts.
Okay.
We both do.
We're
podcast nerds.
Do you bring in other people to talk about murder and stuff? I'm going to bring in this girl named Anna who worked for a women's correctional facility, and she junks out on like serial killers.
Oh, that's cool. I would love to talk to her because I'm not, like, it freaks me out at the same time as it fascinates me, so I don't like to immerse myself in it, but I know that I immerse myself in it more than like an average person like my roommate or my boyfriend who are terrified of watching anything like that.
Yeah.
I can hardly watch horror movies with either one of them, but like they definitely won't watch anything that's true crime related.
You're the brave one who has to check behind the couch and get the hallway lit up so that they can walk back.
I'm a Leo.
Uh-huh. What drew you to the murder stuff? Is it just innate? I had somebody tell me all women love. And so far, like, I'm batting 1,000 for women who I date loving.
It's so true, though. I think it's a thing where it's like, if you know about it, you feel safer.
Huh.
It's like whenever, like, this is a really shitty comparison, but it's the first thing that came to mind. It's like, if you're a picky eater and someone's like, hey, let's go to this restaurant that you've never been to before, and you, like, go online and you're like, I can look at all of the menu options so I know what I want so I don't look like an asshole whenever I'm trying to order or whatever. Like, I'm completely prepared. I think it's one of those things where it's like, I can go into to life prepared because this whole world is built against my comfort.
Now, wait a minute. Does this mean that you're going to like a bar and you're analyzing people to figure out who's most likely the serial killer in the whole scene?
Okay, well, how did you know that? I mean, I always feel like I'm the one. But
yeah.
I feel bravest when I feel like I'm the one that's the serial killer.
So you're actually just looking for competition, and you're doing the whole, like, this is my property, this is my scene.
Yeah.
You don't belong here.
I'm looking at all of you.
Would it be poison? Would it be stabbing? Like, this is what I've learned from...
I don't want to murder anybody.
No?
No. But if I did, it'd be very clean and very untraceable.
This is very OJ, but if I did...
But if I did. I am not OJ Simpson.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. You're listening to Artless Nap. Welcome back to Artless Nap. This is still Anthony Pego and Heidi Bell.
Yes.
Thank you for coming to do the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for, like, inviting me.
Sure.
I think I invited myself, actually.
Well, not really. I made the call, so I put out a casting call. I guess I can call it that. It sounds so fancy, like I'm a fucking real photographer or something. I put out the casting call for, I'm doing a little kind of vote, campaign, and you were... the most excited, I think, the first. You were like, me, exclamation, exclamation, or something like that.
8 exclamations.
And I've worked with you before doing some photographs. That was for, like, the Women of Oklahoma painting thing. a good 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I honestly love thinking about that I am a woman of Oklahoma, because I don't think that I have, like, any kind of influence, but I think that it's really cool to think about.
You certainly are a woman of Oklahoma. I mean, all women are women of Oklahoma, the ones that live in Oklahoma.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
I guess if you leave Oklahoma, I'll still consider them a woman of Oklahoma, but, you know.
If I leave Oklahoma, I absolutely would.
Good. We talked a little bit on the porch. I know we need to start this happens every time. Everybody's like, you should just leave a microphone on the table out there so that we get... Those will probably end up being the real podcast. So this one's just like the faux podcast where
we've
I get
rehearsed
you relaxed.
this.
And we were out there talking about, like, lots of stuff, like John Wayne and being a sociopath and the names of dogs. And
yeah.
Why don't you guide us a little bit? What do you want to chat about?
Well, I don't know if this is going to generate a lot of back and forth about it, but we just recently passed medical marijuana in our state.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of pushback on our laws regarding that. I definitely voted for weed. Definitely.
Right. So did I. So am I allowed to ask, do you smoke the green?
Maybe.
So maybe. In your experience, is this something that's going to lead people down a path to utter self-destruction and, you know...
I mean, the first step, it's the gateway drug. So the first step is weed, and then you are doing ketamine in a club, and you wake up on top of somebody's car naked.
Yeah?
That's what weed does.
I think I need to smoke more weed.
It's the devil's lettuce.
No, ketamine's not good. Ketamine, for people who don't know, that's an animal tranquilizer.
It is.
It is an actual party drug.
Kidding.
Yes, she is kidding. But that is something people do. And usually you don't get there by just starting with pot and going, hey, I want to up my game.
And honestly, I have no... hey, if y'all want to do fucking ketamine, do fucking ketamine. If you are safe about it and you're going to protect yourself, fine. I don't even really know how it works, but whatever.
It's a downer. It's a thing that, like, they call it a K-hole, and it just, like, shuts down your system. You know?
I saw Party Monster.
Oh, yeah? Party Monster? I'm not sure I saw that. So it's all about ketamine, the whole movie?
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's about club kids in New York in the late 80s, early 90s, and doing a bunch of K.
Uh-huh.
Doing some special K.
All right, I'll have to watch it. We'll do a movie review or something like that.
Yeah, it stars Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this like Macaulay Culkin kind of went like crazy and trashy, like did drugs and got...
Actually, he's been in one of my favorite movies.
What's that?
We're not going to do on my podcast because we love it. And if we do it, we're going to do an I love this episode. 10 things I love about this rom-com, which is Saved.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
No.
Okay. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay. It came out 2004. Produced by Michael Stipe from REM.
Right, I know who bald guy.
That Michael Stipe.
Yeah.
And it stars Jenna Malone from, as a lot of people would know her from the Hunger Games, but more importantly, like deeper cuts would know her from Donnie Darko.
Right, good movie.
Yeah, she plays Gretchen in Donnie Darko. And she's the main character, and she goes to a Christian high school, and her best friend is Mandy Moore, who is a super Christian girl.
Of course.
Who's, like, whatever. And her boyfriend, Jenna Malone's boyfriend, tells her that he thinks that he's gay.
Uh-huh.
So she wants to help him, and so she has sex with him to help him out of his gayness.
Well, that's quite the therapeutic effort, I guess. It's another one of those, he just needed the right pussy.
Exactly. Same thing. Same thing with Chasing Amy. You just need he needed to find the right girl.
Right.
So she tries to help him through that. He ends up getting sent to a one of those like anti like those but I'm a cheerleader camps.
What? Not the.
But I'm a Cheerleader is another movie about like de-gayification.
Oh, I did
camps.
see that.
Yeah, with Natasha Lyonne and RuPaul, I think, was one of the camp counselors.
Yeah. No better way
movie.
to make somebody not a lesbian than to surround them with cheerleaders.
Yeah, than to surround them with sexy lesbians.
Yeah.
So he gets sent to one of those, like, camps, I guess, and so she's dealing with that, but at the same time, and she's dealing with, like, the backlash of all of her peers being like, oh my god, your boyfriend was gay, that's so crazy, let's have a bunch of, like, prayer circles about it. But she's hiding the fact that she got pregnant by him.
Oh.
And so, but Macaulay Culkin's in it, and he plays a kid in a wheelchair who is the brother of Mandy Moore, who is kind of the antagonist of the movie, and she's.
Is he a voice of reason, or does he?
He's a voice of reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He's great. He's great in that movie. He's also really great in Party Monster. He plays the bad guy. Seth Green plays James St. James. Do you know who James St. James is?
Nope. I know who Seth Green is, but no.
Okay. James St. James, which I deeply apologize. I am not a club kid, but I grew up a little bit around club kids.
Sure, yeah.
My sister was definitely hanging out with club kids a lot.
Yeah.
And they're famous for a thing called Disco Bloodbath.
So this is like, okay, what I remember from my club, because I was a club kid, I had to get out of the house, and I didn't feel like my family understood me. I feel like a whole lot of these kids kind of come from that background. They had foam parties, which is totally gross. Like, you just get into this liquidy mess, and everybody is in it, and then you've got germs floating
I hate
around.
public pools. Like, I wouldn't do that.
So is it a little like the bloodbath? Do they drop blood, or is it on the floor? Is there plastic sheeting everywhere?
Okay.
Like,
So in the movie, which this is a true story.
okay.
Party Monster is a true story. It's based on James St. James, which is played by Seth Green, and Macaulay Culkin's character, who I can't remember his name, but he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Quote unquote in this movie. But James St. James is like he's this tall, bald man, which is really hilarious because like Seth Green is like 4 feet tall. So like he's playing James St. James, who's kind of a tall dude. But they popularized like theme parties, and so they would have disco bloodbaths every Saturday or whatever in New York City. And please forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, because it's been about 10 years since I've seen this movie. But every week was a different theme, so it'd be like doctor theme, come dressed as like a doctor or sexy nurse or whatever, like or dead patient, whatever. Next theme is like Candyland, come dress as like sexy Candyland or fun Candyland, whatever. Like every week was a different theme. In Oklahoma City, there were 3 people who started Disco Bloodbath.
Wow.
That would be Robin Robotron. I'm not going to say her name yet because I don't know if I can. Ostentatious and Jacob.
Yeah.
And they all 3 started Disco Bloodbath in Oklahoma City.
Wow.
So like they really wanted to have Halloween in the summer, and that's why they started it.
Gotcha.
And so the first one that I went to, I was 19 years old, and that was like the last year that they started letting minors come in.
Yeah.
And
because of you.
Probably just because of me. But they used to have it when the conservatory was the conservatory, and now it's 89th Street Collective.
Right.
But they'd have a different theme every year, and the first theme that I went to was Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter.
Wow.
So it was like playground themed. And so my friend and I went, and she dressed as like a little girl, and she had like pigtails, and she's really short. She's about 4 feet tall. She's a tiny little girl. Still, even she has a daughter now that's like taller than her and is in kindergarten.
Genetics. Genetics are weird.
Yeah, they're really weird. But she's a cutie pie, and she like wore her hair in pigtails and like a little like skirt, and she was like, and we went to Party Galaxy and like got like a thing and like where it looked like I stuck a popsicle stick in her neck like to kill her, and I was an evil ice cream man. So that was like the first disco bloodbath that I went to.
Wow.
And they had them every year. In 2012, Jacob, one of the founders, passed away.
Oh.
So Austin and Robin both decided to disband it and have one last one on Jacob's birthday, which was in the middle of the summer. So it was Hello Kitty themed. It was like his theme. He loved Hello Kitty.
Okay.
So like they, it was really pretty tribute to him. But I'd been to I'd only missed 2 of them.
Yeah.
But there were at least, I think, 6 of them.
Yeah.
And so I'd been to almost every one of them. But that was a really cool thing that they did.
That is super sweet.
Based on Party Monster.
What would your, like, so if you had a theme, like a good going out, my thing is, I lived in New Orleans for a couple years.
Yeah.
And I lived there, I think it's called First Line. And so they, if somebody dies, and they've got to be a prominent. So here I am, like, floating my own boat. I hope that one day people care enough about me to have this kind of thing.
Like
and
a big party.
It's just a dream,
yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be there. I don't care. Like, I'll probably just be stuck in, like, a
big party. You better
box.
have a big party every year on my birthday.
Oh, yeah?
Motherfuckers.
You demand it?
Okay.
So this thing is like have you ever seen this? Where they walk a procession, and it's very somber, and they have musicians, and it's usually for like musicians or like prominent figures. And so they walk through the streets of New Orleans, and they pick up people. So they do the procession is what it's called, to pick up people. So you can literally just like walk out of your home and go join the parade.
That's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Now, here's the best part. So it starts off with like a slow somber. So they pick up all these musicians, or they start off with some of the musicians, and people bring their instruments and get in line, and they play this music, and it's somber at first. So it's like I apologize for my mouth musical, impersonations or whatever, but it's like very drony. It's like
that sounds very. Yeah.
So there's this, and then when you, lay them to rest in like the cemeteries, which like that's a whole other thing. Like
it's
when it
above
floods,
ground, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, you get buried, and you hope
in
that
the
you
Virgin
don't.
Islands, it's the same way. They're mausoleums and they're above ground.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but the poor people don't get buried in mausoleums. And then so when you get buried, then the procession kind of reverses. It's not really, it doesn't go back through the same, series, but they kind of do, so you can get kind of dropped off. But it's a party at that point. And then all of the music goes like...
Yeah, and it's like this whole like...
Yeah. Everybody's dancing. Everybody's like having a great time. That's what I want.
Me too.
So, really, you want that? I mean, would you do a theme? Would you have people dress up and stuff?
Yes.
What would they be wearing?
I want every single person at my funeral to look like a widow. That just lost her rich husband.
So you are the rich lost husband in this scenario.
Yeah, but I want to be dressed like the widow.
You are dressed like Magnum PI, I think. You said...
I came as sexy Mitch Hedberg today. And
she
I
says
stand
Mitch
by it.
Hedberg. I'm not buying the Mitch Hedberg. She has the glasses. I think that's the biggest prop for the whole thing. But because of the shirt, I get the whole Magnum PI who, like, I never understood, like, was this guy a working class man or was he secretly super rich? I know he had, like, the
Magnum PI or Mitch Hedberg?
Magnum PI. No, I know who Mitch Hedberg was, escalator is broken.
Yeah.
Like, they're now stairs.
He definitely was a working class
Sorry
guy.
for the convenience. Oh, he was amazing. Yeah.
R.I.P.D. motherfucking.
Yeah,
Hedberg.
if you guys haven't checked him out, a lot of people, it's surprising the number of people that I've
Yeah.
run into who don't know who he is.
He had a very short-lived career. Actually, the sign that I made, "Gosh bless democracy" or "Gosh save democracy," was actually dedicated to him. The last comedy special that came out in 2009, which was 4 years after he died, and it was called "Do You Believe in Gosh?"
Wow.
And so, like, that was kind of my tribute to him because I was dressed as sexy Mitch Hedberg today.
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm not putting down your outfit or your choice or my perception of it. It's just like that was one of my childhood things. Going home, when you're sick and you're at grandma's house and you're watching like Wheel of Fortune, and Price is Right. Yeah. And then there was, of course, the Magnum P.I. and the soap operas. Couldn't stand soap operas. That's when I had to get out of the house. Soap operas too. They're so bad. They just wretch my soul. I hate them. Yeah. I can't stand them. But my mother, one time I had to drive my mom home. She was very drunk. And, sorry, Mom, I'm going to tell the story. She was very, very drunk, and I drove her home from an Italian restaurant that we both went to eat at. And she got mad at me because I smoked cigarettes in my car, and my mother's quit date is September 11th, 2001. Okay. On accident. It had nothing to do with whatever. Right. She smoked her last cigarette on September 10th. That was like... Wow, what a hard day to quit. Jeez. Yeah. So she has not smoked a cigarette since then, but she, like, yelled at me the whole time out of the window, "You're choking me." And I was like, "Mom, you smoked cigarettes while you were pregnant with me and drank Diet Coke. So both of those things are part of my DNA. Yeah, deal with it." But, so I tucked her in to her bed, got a little, like, trash can next to her just in case, had, like, a glass of water next to her bed, and she's like... "I want to watch my stories." So I'm like, "Okay, Mom, all right, what do you want to watch?" Like, "I'm going to find this on your amazing TV with your ridiculous remote that can, like, whatever." She wants to fucking watch Blue Bloods. Oh. Because she has a big crush on fucking Tom Selleck. Of course. She wants to watch her sexy boyfriend, Tom Selleck, with his mustache, solve some crimes. Right. So is your mom thinking about a reverse mortgage now that he's the spokesman for... taking old people's homes? I bet that's exactly what she's doing right now. I'm not talking... What's her name? Tammy. Tammy, high respects. You've raised this wonderful woman. You've raised 3 wonderful women. But Tom Selleck, the guy's... That's her boyfriend. I gotta talk shit. It's over. Okay, so not only is her boyfriend Tom Selleck, she has another boyfriend who she has a signed photograph of. Oh, does Tom know? Tom does not know because it's Mike Morgan. Oh my God. Mike Morgan? Mike Morgan. So for people who don't know, this is the weather guy here in Oklahoma, and he's like one of the quintessential guys. I think he's Channel 4. It's KFOR. And then we have... the guy that he kind of replaced was... Gary England. Gary England's the older guy, but there was the crazy guy who's now on Channel 9. What's his name? David Payne. Yeah, David Payne is like... I know all of them because I'm very weather aware. Yes, be weather X-ware. Yeah, always. Yeah, my mom has a huge crush on Mike Morgan. And I just realized, like the other day, I was in a lift with... one of my really good friends, Jesse. Is this an elevator or a car? A car. Okay. I'm not British. None of my DNA is British. I'm proud of that. So we're in a lift driving to the high-low, which is just a few blocks away from my house. And we're being very, good about it because we're taking a lift. We're not driving to the bar to get drunk to drive home. Good. And... it hits me when I'm sitting there, and one of Mike Morgan's things is during a storm, he wears a red sparkly tie. Yes. And that's like kind of his thing when he's like really excited about a fucking tornado happening. Mm-hmm. I have to say fucking, right? Right. Okay. Yeah. So he's like jazzed up about this fucking tornado happening, and you can tell because he's wearing this fucking like bedazzled red tie. And I figured out why it was a sparkly red tie while I was in this car. Uh-oh. While I was in this lift. There was no storm happening. I don't know why the fuck it just came to me. Yeah. Dorothy's shoes are red and sparkly. Oh my God. Yes. This makes me feel like we need to send him like little gift baskets that are like the... the old picnic basket and some of the little stuffed dog and stuff. Just kind of like allude to all of the... Yes, that's what he's doing. He is. Like, I didn't realize that
for like 5 years until I was in this lift driving and we talked about Mike Morgan, how my mom has a big crush on him and he wears fucking sparkly ties during a tornado. Oh my God, it's because of Dorothy's slippers.
I had no idea. Of course, the tornado. So not just, so when he's not super excited, that's his like peacocking. He's got the big, feathers expanded. That's his tie. He also wears this little like medallion thing. And I've been trying to figure out if this is like a microphone that's like super expensive, or if he just has like, look for it. He's got this little weird ruby medallion.
Everyone look for it.
Yeah, he's got it. He wears it, I think, all the time. So this is like a thing for him. So he likes ruby red, I guess, slippers because of the whole tornado's gonna get you.
I mean, I'm only assuming that's what he's doing it for.
But
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's my new conspiracy theory. Yeah. I love this.
Is that he's doing it because Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
I think. What do you think about the old movie? Do you enjoy? Did you read the books? The criticism of capitalism or corporatism and the gold standard, and that was the point. That was the point of the Wizard of Oz, was like the gold standard and criticism of like,
ELJ.
Oh, you're gonna press my. No, I don't know.
E.L. James is no. That's,
we should know this.
E.L. James is the fucking author of 50 Shades of Grey. Another one of my mom's favorite
that's not
authors.
me.
That's really gross.
Did you read those?
No.
No,
actually, I lied. Okay, so when I lived in Omaha, I had a friend named Laura. I still have her. She's great. She just got her master's in library science, and she's trying to be a librarian. It's fucking amazing. And so she would always have book-themed birthday parties, or just random parties. And she lived across the hall from me and my boyfriend at the time. And she had a 50 shots of Grey party. So
that sounds dangerous.
Yeah. So we would all have to pass around a copy of 50 Shades of Grey while we were drinking, and we'd have to draw out of a hat of a specific accent that we had to read it in.
Okay.
And so the only time I'd ever heard it is her reading it in Sarah Palin's accent.
Can you do a bit of this? You owe me one other impersonation.
Oh, my Joey Lauren Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I have to think for a second.
Okay.
Hold on, can we think about Joey Lauren Adams? Who is she? Where did she come from? Where did she go? What's her...
Where is she now?
What's her thing? She is... she's very, I can't do it. Hold on. Holden!
Oh my God.
Holden, it's not fair!
You actually nailed it. Mm-hmm. Holden, you're a dick still.
Holden, you're a dick. Can I get a vodka Red Bull? That's another one.
Oh my God. All right. Can you criticize? I hate to do it. Can you criticize Trump with her voice?
What should I say about him?
Just talk about him not understanding California, fires.
Don't you know how fires work? Holden!
Holden knows how fires work, or so he thinks.
Holden! I don't know. She really just loved Holden.
She just really loved Holden.
She did. It made her not a lesbian anymore. Magically.
Mm-hmm.
He made her not a lesbian.
Magically.
Because of his Ben Affleck charm.
Yeah, is that a real thing? I don't know. Are you attracted to Ben Affleck?
He's an attractive guy.
Yeah. Which one's more attractive, him or his shorter buddy? His
He's
partner?
way more attractive than. I'm sorry, Matt Damon, but he's way more attractive than you.
Matt Damon, feel free to email us at artlessnap@gmail.com and give us criticism.
Be mad about it.
Yeah.
You're married, so you're fine. You don't have to worry about my critique of you, but I'm not attracted to you. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely more attractive to me, but he's such a brat.
Mm-hmm.
Such a brat.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a brat. So brat recognized brat. Like,
right.
for real.
You're like repelling magnets, like the negative ends.
I get it. But he's the biggest brat. I think that Ben Affleck is the biggest brat to exist in cinema.
What do you think John Wayne was like in real life?
John Wayne?
Yeah.
I think that John Wayne was like everyone else, every other white person in the 40s and 50s, and openly racist.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he did not like people of color in any sense, and he thought women were stupid. That's
pretty concise. And then
that's how I feel about John Wayne.
You told me a story about him filming, and we talked about Yellowface and...
Ghenghis Khan. So, yeah, I was telling Anthony earlier about how he died, and on there's a billboard driving from the south side of Oklahoma City to the north side of Oklahoma City, and there's a billboard that you pass that has a picture of John Wayne that says, "I don't care for quitters, son." And I always drove past it and was like, didn't you fucking die of lung cancer? Like, I always thought he died of lung cancer. I was like, didn't you not quit smoking? Like,
yeah.
So I always laughed about that, and then I found out his, like, how he really died, and it was cancer, but it was because they were shooting Ghenghis Khan in Hollywood, and they needed a bunch of sand to, you know, for the desert scenes for whatever reason, because there's a desert in China.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Whatever. He's a cowboy, deserts. So they went to Los Alamos, New Mexico, after 1948, and got a bunch of their sand and moved it over to this lot for their set, and every single person got cancer and died.
Right. So for people who don't know, Los Alamos was a research facility, and they commonly would blow up, you know, these atomic bombs, but like it was popular
it was a testing
to watch.
Facility
like
in
you could see it from
40s.
a distance,
Yeah.
like, and there were like viewers, like they would have military and stuff and bunkers and like with glasses and stuff, but like it was so close to other villages and cities, or people would travel, they would get in their cars and stuff. People from a distance would just
that
like,
I did not know.
Yeah, people would like
that it was a thing.
Watch it. Yeah. So I wonder what level of irradiation you got, you know.
If you got it straight from there, like,
yeah.
I mean, dead radiation, because that dude's dead.
So. Yeah. So, you know.
He doesn't like quitters.
not at all. And I guess he proved his point, right? He didn't exactly quit. He just murdered himself by making bad choices.
Also hatred. Probably.
Yeah, that'll murder you really quickly.
Yeah.
That brings me to my next question. So, what do we bring the bigoted people who are showing their true colors for the last, you know, number of years? Do we forgive them? Do we bring them back into our lives? Can we? Is there a conversation to be had? Is this over?
No.
We don't bring them back.
No.
They're in pain. Do we just push sick people away? But they're sick in a different way. They don't. You know.
I think that's shitty to say that they are sick.
Okay.
Because sick people are actually sick, and there's a bunch of sick people who aren't fucking
It's
racist.
offensive to actual sick people.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, I think that, you know, I have family members that I pushed away because of their support for 45, which I have to say this on camera right now, because I don't know if you have noticed this, but I have definitely noticed this. If you're driving down Clawson, speaking of the most surveilled street in America or whatever, 45th and Clawson, the sign for 45 is upside down.
Really?
Yeah.
They have taken it and turned it upside down. Mm-hmm. That's brilliant.
Clawson is right side up, but 45 is upside down.
Okay, that's clever.
Did that?
Yeah, no, we're fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just do audio. So the one that I saw was somebody had taken a 45 speed limit sign and then just taken the same type of signage, the white background with the, you know, black border, and just wrote the word impeach in like Arial font or whatever.
Yeah,
so
no.
Impeach 45.
On 45th and Classen, if you drive down 45th and Classen, you'll see it. 45 is upside down.
Wow, I'm going to check it out.
I want everyone to know that, because I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, because no one's taken a picture of it, no one's talked about it. I've seen it at least 3 times. I saw it twice today, because I'd driven past it a couple times today, but yeah, like...
We need to pick one of these days to drive up there and do a little selfie thing going on with it.
I think that's awesome. I love that.
Well, on that note, this is Artless Nap.
Artless Nap.